Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, August 2nd. Mike Keneally, the State Secretary of Housing and Economic Development, is our guest this morning. It's time to go on the record. He is Governor Baker's point person on two of the pandemic's biggest challenges: how to keep people secure in their homes and how to get them safely back to work. To plan for the critical days ahead as we go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Good morning again and welcome back to OTR. I'm Ed Harding along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. We do welcome the Secretary of Housing and Economic Development, Mike Keneally, with us this morning. He's in our studio. Our large space here allows us to maintain social distancing protocols as we have been throughout this pandemic. Secretary Keneally joined the Baker administration in 2015. It's great to have you with us, Mike. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Great to be here, Ed. Great to be here, Janet. Thank you.
You're welcome. And as Ed just said, you're a key decision maker during this pandemic. Many states are now seeing what they call the second wave, while others argue it's really the first wave that was badly managed. How confident are you right now that it won't happen here?
Well, Janet, let me first talk about the reopening strategy we developed. And when I talk about that, I always want to thank the members of our Reopening Advisory Board who spent a lot of time with us back in the April-May timeframe. We had 17 great members from the business, healthcare, municipal government. And as we did the work, we were mindful of two things. One is that this is work that's never been done before. No one's ever developed a strategy to reopen the state's economy. And the other factor we thought a lot about was we are among the hardest hit states by COVID-19. We were the third hardest hit measured in terms of cases per capita. Now, we knew we had to develop, therefore, a phased, data-driven, careful approach to reopening. And it really is all about the data. The data told us when it was safe to start reopening. The data informed our move from phase 1 to 2, then into phase 3 now. And we've seen great improvement on all these metrics, certainly since the March-April timeframe, but even since we started to reopen the economy. You look at the positive test rate, which today is around 2%. It was around 10% when we started reopening. So we've seen great improvement on those metrics throughout the reopening process.
So the question right now is, while you have done well so far, are you worried about these numbers going back up as you watch the rest of the country?
I was going to say, Janet, we labeled these phases. Phase 3 is labeled vigilant, and that is exactly where we need to be right now. We need to be very careful and do the things all of us can do to help stop the spread of the virus. One of the key themes in our report, in our strategy, is shared responsibility. The fact that we all have a role to play here: citizens, government, the healthcare system.
So you're not willing to predict at this point whether it's going to stay pretty low at this point, even as the reopenings start to expand?
We certainly aren't going to predict, but we're going to encourage people to keep doing the things we all can do in this vigilant phase.
Well, if you're going to encourage them to do that, are you going to discourage them from doing this? This past week, there was a harbor cruise where people clearly weren't worried about the coronavirus. Look at all the people stacked on the deck. It's not the only example of Massachusetts folks ignoring the pandemic. So as the economic secretary, should businesses be penalized for allowing behavior like that?
Well, there are enforcement and penalties built into the system, Ed, and we work closely with our partners in local government and local boards of health and our Division of Labor Standards, our Department of Public Health, so we do have that framework in mind. It is operational today. I will say, though, for the most part, it's our belief that citizens and businesses are doing the right thing. We talk to employer groups all the time about what their practices are. When we started this process, we had 3 levels of guidance we issued. One was the overall social guidance to the population. And these are topics the governor talks about all the time: the importance of hand washing, face covering, social distancing. For businesses, we had 2 levels of guidance: mandatory safety standards that all companies, all workplaces have to adhere to, and then industry-specific protocols. And for the most part, people are doing a really good job of that. There certainly are examples where that's not the case, but we're encouraged so far by how people are behaving during the pandemic.
You mentioned we're in new territory, and we are. So many parents who can't work from home this fall are still waiting to hear about schools reopening.
Right.
And I understand it's not your specific vein of expertise, but you're in the middle here. What do you tell businesses about how to proceed with so much uncertainty?
It's a great question. It's an important question. For example, we always looked at, if you look at our reopening report, we talk about the enablers of getting back to work. And one of those key enablers, for example, is childcare. And so the childcare system now is getting stood back up. We closed that on March 18th. It reopened in June. We had about 2,000 child care centers open at the start of the month, about 4,600 open now. So the child care system, that part of the equation is coming back. That's a key enabler. With respect to K through 12 education, today is the date whereby districts will need to submit their plan to the Commonwealth. And we've asked school districts to plan for 3 scenarios: in-person learning, remote learning, or a hybrid. And so it's very much a work in progress. We understand the uncertainty around it, but there'll be a lot more to say about K through 12 education soon. It's also worth noting that a number of employers have really taken seriously this idea of working from home. And now offices were closed for a long time. They started to reopen back in May when we started to reopen the overall economy. There's an article today in the Globe about how a number of large employers will continue working from home even into early next year. It's a complicated picture for sure. It's a fluid picture, but we'll have more clarity on the K through 12 part of it, I think, pretty soon.
Just a yes or no. Do you expect any school system to disregard the 2-week delay? You know, that they've been given the option for the 2-week delay and reduce the calendar from 180 to 170 days?
Well, we'll see. They've got to submit their plans today. We'll see what comes back.
Got it.
Right now, the governor and the legislature have put off hard decisions for the current budget because tax receipts, other sources of income are so uncertain. Does this jeopardize confidence in the state's economy overall? I mean, as you talk to the businesses?
Well, I don't think so. With respect to the budget, the legislature developed a 3-month spending plan. And we're very much appreciate their efforts in that regard to keep government services funded during this period of time and to have that interim spending plan. With regard to the budget, it's just going to be an ongoing dialogue and partnership with the legislature as we track revenue collections, the impact of the virus on the economy, develop spending plans, look at where federal money may be spent or allocated. So it will be close partnership with the legislature on the budget. But they did submit this 3-month plan yesterday. In terms of the overall legislative cycle, I think the governor made the point this week that the legislature really lost about 3 months between mid-March and mid to late June. And so I know the governor voiced the view that it made sense to extend beyond this period of time. But I'm not hearing that's causing a lack of confidence among our business community.
We knew that local aid has been more or less, a certain level has been assured to all the cities and towns, which sort of has quelled their nervousness. But there have to be some small businesses that are really reliant on state contracts that don't know what's out there. What do you tell them?
Well, I would tell them it looks like we'll have an interim plan in place in that regard, and we'll work hard to develop. I know the legislature and the governor and our Secretary of Administration and Finance will work hard to develop the budget from there. But with respect to small business support generally, we've been very active trying to support our small companies during a very, very difficult period of time. In terms of providing capital through state programs, helping to accelerate the implementation of federal programs here in the Commonwealth, standing up a small business technical assistance network to help small businesses all over the state. We know how challenging a time it's been for our small companies, and we have endeavored to provide a lot of support in the form of capital and assistance from the state.
Mr. Secretary, let's talk about housing. Governor Baker is extending the moratorium on evictions to October. The SJC has been asked to vacate that order. But if the High Court backs the moratorium, could it be pushed to the end of the year or even further down the road?
Well, I'm not going to forecast on that one right now, Ed. I mean, the governor extended it for 60 days beyond the original expiry date, so that gets us to October 17th. We thought that made a lot of sense. I will say, in our view, the moratorium has kept a lot of people housed during a very challenging period of time where you don't want people to have great housing insecurity or instability. In our view, the extra 60 days will give us more time for the economy to recover, which will help our renters as well as our small business folks. It will give us time to get a look at September and October rent collections, for example, and give us time to work with the courts, which are now open to work on a process, to really start to work the process of how this may operate.
Do you think there will have to be some sort of forgiveness clause put in for some of these renters that may not be able to ever make up the money?
We're going to monitor all that, Janet. We need to really take a look at the overall economic picture, what rent collections look like, what the needs are. But again, the 60-day period of time gives us that window to develop those strategies, to work not only with the courts, but with folks in the housing community, our municipal officials, and many others. And
we frequently talk about renters and their housing rights, but landlords have mortgages to pay, which they can't pay if they don't get their rental money.
Oh, absolutely, Ed. Let me say a couple of things in that regard. One is, and the governor's made this point as well, the moratorium does not absolve anybody from the obligation to pay rent. And so if folks can pay their rent, they ought to be doing that. But secondly, we've stood up a number of programs around the state now to help renters pay their rent, which ultimately benefits the landlords as well. So our Rental Assistance for Families in Transition program, or RAFT, our Emergency Rental and Mortgage Assistance program, IRMA, working very closely with municipal officials. There are a number of local rental assistance programs as well. So we're trying to come to the table, as are many of our municipal partners, with dollars that help people pay their rent, which ultimately do benefit the landlord as well.